Welcome to my garden. It's another beautiful day in Colorado, and today we are going to be talking about everyone's probably least favorite beetle, the Japanese beetle. They're beautiful if you're an insect lover, but they wreak havoc on many plants in the garden. The bad news is that there's no way of eradicating them. They're most likely here to stay. But the good news is that there are some things that you can do to prevent or control them taking over your beautiful oasis. One of the main things you can do is to not plant things that attract them. I live in a house that's over 100 years old, and I'm pretty positive that this grapevine has probably been here since the house was built. So I will admit, because of the fact that this is probably original to the house, I decided not to remove it. Well, in deciding not to remove it, I've had to live with the Japanese beetles. You take a closer look. This is a sign of Japanese beetle damage. So they won't kill your plants unless it's a new plant. Sometimes if they attack a new perennial or shrub, they can cause so much stress on the plant that it might eventually be more attractive to other pests or diseases that could kill it. But if you're like me and you have a grapevine that you might be sentimentally attached to that you don't want to part with, the second best way to control them is picking them off by hand. There's an ideal time to remove Japanese beetles from your plants when they're most abundant, and that's typically first thing in the morning or later in the afternoon before dusk. You might be thinking to yourself, why would I want to pick off the Japanese beetles? Well, as I said earlier, there's no chemical or way of actually eradicating Japanese beetle. The best thing you can do is either prevent them by not planting things that they're attracted to, like grapevines, other plants that they're attracted to are lush green sod lawns. They like to have consistent moisture. So if you might be taking pride in your lush green manicured lawn, that is one of their favorite places to lay eggs and produce adults for the next eating season the following year. Whatever you do, do not buy a Japanese beetle trap. They will actually attract more Japanese beetles to your garden. Yes, they will be attracted to those traps, but you will catch some in those traps, but you'll actually attract more because if you've noticed Japanese beetles in the garden, they love to reproduce. So let's go on a Japanese beetle hunt and see how many we can find, and I'll show you my technique. So now I'm ready to go on some Japanese beetle hunting. I actually have this, I bought it at a flea market or a garage sale. It's a container that has a lid. You might also recognize that it's a shaker for mixed drinks. You don't need anything this fancy or this unique. You can use an empty water bottle, plastic water bottle, but the most important thing is that it has a lid. And I always like to put about a half cup or more of water in the bottom. And so I have my garden gloves, and I'm actually I'm right-handed, so I'm going to put a glove on my left hand. And this might gross some of you out. I just have to warn you. There's going to be some death and destruction, at least with the Japanese beetles. They are beautiful And I really hate to kill any living thing, but my grapevine's living too, and I want to just try to protect it and keep them from spreading potentially to other plants in the garden. Okay, let me get started. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this lid, and it's kind of gross and disgusting in there. There's some Japanese beetles floating around, and it's important to have the lid so they don't fly out when you're catching them. And also you want to keep that closed so you don't have dead Japanese beetle juice spilling over. That's kind of disgusting. But also, you don't want to attract other Japanese beetles to your vessel that you've chosen. Now, the reason why I like to use one gloved hand and one bare hand is in the past, I tried to use 2 gloves, and I found that not being able to feel the insect, I ended up losing or not capturing most of the Japanese beetles that I tried to capture. So let me go ahead and demonstrate. I'm going to set this down so I can use both my hands. Okay, so I kind of sneak in slowly. That was a really bad demonstration because I think they all fell off the leaf. So that's why it's really important to go slowly. Ooh, I found one. Okay, so I caught the little bugger right there. There he is. And then I transfer it to my other hand and I do a squeeze. So I squeeze the Japanese beetle because when I put the Japanese beetle in the container filled with water, I don't want any other Japanese beetles that I've captured to fly out of the container. Kind of defeats the purpose. So that is my method of capturing Japanese beetles. Thanks for watching my blog today about how to control Japanese beetles in your garden. If you don't necessarily have the stomach to pick off Japanese beetles by hand, I recommend my number one piece of advice is to avoid planting plants that attract them to your garden. Good luck, and thanks for listening.